حضرته فيما يتعلق بها. Yes, Hadou, what about this?
Yes. You know, there was an Ahmadi young man by the name of Nasir Ahmed in Nankana Sahib. Nankana Sahib is the same town, small township, where in the open day, broad daylight, there's an organized mob who take every Ahmadi house and razed it to the ground. Threw all the books, including the Holy Quran, in the rubbish outside, and said, "This is the Quran published by you, it doesn't mean anything to us." And we have pictures and also movie taken, which can be shown as small specimen of what they do and how they treat Islam in their own country. So some were killed, some were beaten up and thoroughly mauled. Was any martyrdom there? No. Nobody was martyred ultimately, but there were some were left as dead. But some were attempted to be burnt alive, and they had gathered around that we will not surround the house, we will not let you run away. And with the grace of Allah, somehow they were ultimately escaped. But that is a very horrible picture of what happened in that broad daylight, in presence of the police force, magistracy. Nothing was done. After that, they still survived, and many returned to the same place and said that whatever you do, we are not going to leave our beliefs for the sake of your oppression, under the threat of your oppression, nor shall we run away from it. Let what happen. So he is one of those brave young men who returned to Nankana Sahib and still remains there. In 1992, he celebrated the marriage of his first daughter. He's not a very young man, middle-aged person. And in that he committed a very grave crime against humanity and Islam by beginning the invitation card with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala Rasulihil Kareem, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Please, if you could kindly find time to come to attend the marriage of my daughter, you are invited most cordially. These were the words, and inshallah this will happen on that day. These are the charges officially pressed against him. This man, and the number of the court case is 122, 1992. And he appeared many a time. He was in fact bailed out at last after long suffering in the jail by the Ahmadi lawyers. And recently, yesterday or 2 days ago, the final judgment was issued and he was re-imprisoned. The bail cancelled and he was imprisoned. Now the crime list is read out, but I have asked them to send official copy, which will be shown here on television, of the judgment. The name of the session judge, is it session judge?
Yes.
Zaki Pal. He is additional session judge. Imagine the quality of these people, at that level. Additional session judge is a very important post because they can decide the issues of life and death, condemnation of death. And that is why this case was handled by him, because it included also 295A, which is very close to 295C, which means only death is the penalty of this crime and nothing else. So 295A deals with some sort of insult to Islam and misconduct, and 298C also relates to such offences as hurt the sensibilities of Muslims by abuse or by some other acts of violence or invectives, bad language, etc. So I don't know the details of the law, but this is generally the effect of these acts. So ultimately, now this is exactly the copy. You can see that. Have you focused it? Can you see it? We can't see it on television.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, you can. Huh? Can one read it? This is the crime committed by an Ahmadi in Pakistan today.
This is an official paper, photocopy. Invitation.
Photocopy of his invitation to his people to attend the marriage ceremony of his daughter.
Yes.
And the police moved against him case of violation of public law and safety, etc., etc., and insult to Islam and invectives against this and that. But exact wording which were produced in the police report which was submitted to the court, and then regular charges were pressed against him officially, were these charges which you have read, that you have been reported guilty of writing Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim and Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala Rasulihil Kareem, and then you have been found guilty of addressing people by Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and in the end you crossed all limits by saying Inshallah Ta'ala, if Allah so willed.
Imagine.
And now the judgment. Immediately arrested, to be immediately arrested again and sent to jail for 4 years, rigorous imprisonment in relation to the first charge of 295A. I'm sorry, there is a misunderstanding. I told him to provide me with original copy of Nasir's invitation card, and I remember it was a card, but this time it was something else. So I thought it was a copy from the card. But it has another thing, I'm sorry to say, but these exactly are the charges which I have read. There is no change at all in that. This is correct. The charges pressed were that you have been found guilty of writing Bismillah, you have found guilty of saying Durood ala Muhammad Rasulullah sallam, etc., and you have been found guilty of saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and also of saying Inshallah Ta'ala. And under all these counts which are proved to be correct, because he said, yes, it's true, I believe it and I have to do it. I have to act according to my beliefs. So he said that you are punished for 4 years rigorous imprisonment, that is with labor, hard labor. Under the first count and under the second, 2 years rigorous imprisonment. Altogether, they will not start simultaneously. 4 plus 2 added. And plus 1,000 rupees fine, if not paid, 2 more months of rigorous imprisonment as a result of non-payment of this fine. This is the report, and they have not yet collected the copy, but the moment the copy is available, the court has to issue the official copy. We will bring it here and show it to the audience, and this is also covered by Pakistani papers. So nobody can say there are one-sided allegations of this and that. Utter madness, you can say that, or total disregard to human values and decency and love of Islam, but they are doing it in the name of Islam. Imagine. But